Morning guys, Tuesday 11th of August. Dan Park even earlier, about 25 to 7 today. And there's still a few people around, but a bit quieter. But you want to see me putting poo bags in bins? Keeping very cool this morning. So I facilitated the the co-coaching forum yesterday, and lots of great coaching, great feedback. People tend to work in threes, so they take on the coach, the coachee, and the observer role, and do some practical coaching, and then give feedback to the coach. And I then get them to, when we come back to the main room, get them to share some of their insights, their reflections, which is always really quite a privilege to be part of. And I was just sort of thinking about some of the key things that came out of the feedback, i.e., the various skills that people noticed and observed. And even though we're, the focus, if you like, the context is coaching, I think that these skills that are practiced, that are highlighted, that are shared, are actually great life skills, to be honest. I mean, come on, Will. I don't think they're I don't see them as Will. I don't see them as exclusive to coaching. Although, as I said, we always put it in the context of coaching. So there's the classic asking the simple, what can sometimes appear we call dumb. In other words, they're so simple it's almost too obvious. So simple questions that are just very on point, very focused. What seems so important about that? How would that give you what you want? What do you want? What's the most important thing to you right now in this given moment? What would it mean for you to have that? The classic, when you dig in deeper, what else? What's the point? What's it for? Then there are other skills that people mentioned about getting really curious, and they meant, really curious, like a little child who's just constantly asking lots of questions and staying open really to the possibilities of what may come up from the conversation, going to the different places without making too much up about what that means or coming to some specific conclusion at that point. Being really, really curious about somebody's life and not taking things at face value. Sort of humour was mentioned as well, and playfulness, which I think can be connected to curiosity. It can bring about a light touch at the same time as it, can be really quite powerful. And also the playfulness can build up the rapport of the relationship as well. Sometimes being playful can enable somebody to actually just open up that bit more, be that bit more honest. People also mention using actually what would be classed as closed questions. So generally it would only tend to move to a yes or a no answer. But in service of bringing the conversation to a point or a stopping point to have a moment to reflect, which when they're placed well in context really works. And also the asking permission. Some people talked about responding to other people's emotions and feelings, perhaps not being quite sure whether it's okay to go there, explore that a bit more. And they're saying, it's okay to ask permission to just check out with somebody. Are you okay us taking this a step further? Are you okay us exploring this in more detail? Do I have your permission to coach you, further around this, whatever that is that's showing up? So you don't have to sort of second guess and assume. You can be very upfront and direct about it. Same with the questions. We're saying that sometimes if it's feeling quite hard, if what we call the coach is working hard to come up with great questions or trying to come up with ideas or solutions, or feel they're trying to fix something, that then generally, it means that they're doing too much. It really is for the client to be able to learn and explore and gain their insights and awareness along the way, not for the coach to be really sort of trying to find the sort of solution for them. And also, some people's feedback was that sometimes coaches can almost overcomplicate it. Can ask too many of a long question or too many questions. What I call double and triple barreled questions. With the purpose to be, I suppose, sort of finding, if you like, asking the right question. Sometimes somebody literally asks or rephrases the same question in 3 different ways. So by the time they get to the third one, what tends to happen is the client's already thinking about their response to the first, and it can get a little bit messy at that point. You can lose sense of where they were or their thought process. And that brings me to another piece, which was, people talking about the use of silence. There were times where they used silence just to be really quiet and still for a period of time, and actually in that moment it helped the individual really have space and time to really think, to quieten their own chatter, and be with their own thoughts, get some thinking time, some clarity around it, so there is a time to also know or choose when to be silent, when to give the other person space, and just be with someone. They know you're there with them, alongside them, but just giving them time. And coming back to the curious, staying curious, playful part of that is allowing somebody to then be able to look at things from different angles, different perspectives. I think that's one of the things you can get really sort of stuck and caught up in certain ways of doing things, or if somebody's bringing something to the coaching but they're saying, I've had this challenge for a long time, or it's something I've revisited a number of times, and so they can feel a bit stuck with it. Looking at perspectives is really, really fundamental and key at that point. So coming back to different perspectives, you can use the idea of, what do you think a 6-year-old would say to the issue or the challenge to hand that you're exploring. Get really creative in lots of different ways. So, if I was right now, I'm walking past many trees. Some of those are probably hundreds of years old. So if the 1,000-year-old tree, or the 500-year-old tree, or even the 100-year-old tree had some wisdom to offer you with a particular sort of issue that you're exploring, what would it have to offer? What would it have to say? I had, amongst many other objects and stuff I've got a mirror. It's, what they call two-sided. So the one side, if you look in it, it would imagine that it was a fairly, a normal focus of what you'd see when you look in a mirror, and then you turn it round and the other one's really magnified, so it's really close up. So I was sort of using that as a example of, to show sort of the one side on the Zoom and said, oh, what do you see? And then after a while turned it around, now what do you see? Looked at the key words, key phrases that were coming up and then used that. What does that offer you? The area that you're wanting to work with, or the challenge that you're exploring. Balance is always a good one to look at as well. Something really simple, like, when you're looking at possibilities and potential, if I say yes to this, what am I? And it is potentially saying no to, because some things will be really obvious, some things won't be. Or if I say no to this, what am I potentially saying yes to? So it's that whole piece about, helps you weigh up the possibilities and just consider the impact, rather than either dismissing things quickly or, as some people may tend to do, say yes to stuff without really thinking through the impact of what they've said yes to, because they've not really considered the potential knock-on effect on all the other things. If you want to get much clearer and focused with it, just get a piece of paper, literally, put a line down the middle, as in from top to bottom, and then put yes on the one side, no on the other. Whatever it is, you can name whatever it is you're looking at the top, but if you already know that anyway, then it is literally just word storm. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? If I say no to this, what am I saying yes to? And put the answers on either side and see what shows up. So as I said, guys, this, the stuff I'm just been sharing, yes, well, in the context of coaching, but actually they are transferable skills that can be used in any area of life. Walking back across the stream. Back to where we nearly started, wasn't it, Will? Although it's interesting, isn't it, that idea of back to where we nearly started, but actually you're never back to where you started, because that sort of moment, if you like, that starting point in a way it's already shifted, it's already moved on. Your thought process has moved on. The water's constantly moving. The soil's perhaps shifted a little bit with some of the feet that have gone in it. So guys, have the rest of a tutti fruity, twisty twirly, thought provoking Tuesday, and I shall speak to you later guys. Take care, bye.